Hey guys, and welcome back to another FM21 Transfer Guide with me, Raxo FM, where today we are going to be looking at 3 signings and 3 sales for Chelsea, a side that had been a little bit up and down recently in the Premier League, with their most recent finish 4th place. However, they did just win the Champions League in real life, so there's no denying they're a brilliant squad, but if you want to really dominate the league and the European football, you're going to have to make some signings. Before we jump into who we're getting rid of and who we're bringing in, make sure that you do like this video if you are enjoying the Football Manager content, as well as subscribing to the Raxo FM channel for daily Football Manager videos coming your way with saves and transfer guides here and there. Now, on face value, £25 million doesn't look great. However, we got to take a look at the economic world that we're in right now in the first year of Football Manager, and that, in comparison to other sides, is actually a tidy amount of money. Can definitely bring in 1 amazing player or 2 pretty decent ones. 100% of our transfer revenue that we bring in as well is coming our way, which is crucial to be building the squad with the 3 sales that we are making. The board has quite a lot of expectations of you, not insanely high expectations, but transfer-wise they do want you to sign players under the age of 22 for the future, as well as developing the club through the youth system, which of course they have been doing mildly illegally for a couple of years in real life. They don't want any more than 1-year contracts for players over the age of 30. They want to sign young players to develop, but in terms of your actual first season success, it's not too bad. They do want you to reach the quarterfinal of the Champions League, which can be a challenge. They want you to get into the Champions League through your Premier League finish, so 4th place or above, as well as reaching the final for the FA Cup. That one is a big one, and the rest of the competitions are not important, but they do want us to be challenging for a cup, so silverware is important for this club. The Premier League wins are starting to be expected in the future, however, so we are going to have to get rid of some of the dead weight that isn't necessary anymore with 3 sales, and then we're going to bring in 3 signings to hopefully bolster that attacking lineup. It's already quite attacking, so maybe we won't focus on that too much, but first of all, let's go over our 3 sales. The first player we're getting rid of, in my opinion, is the most obvious. Although he is very close to breaking the best goal scoring record for France, Olivier Giroud, he's not quite the same man he once was, and at 33 years of age, with a very high wage, only an impact sub, and £7 million worth of value, I think it's time to finally cash in on the man. He came in for only £18 million. He's been a great servant to the club, don't get me wrong. But with other players coming through the ranks, you know, Timo Werner just coming into the squad. Now, if we take a comparison, there is a clear night and day winner. There is not a clear night and day winner, actually, but we all know that Werner is a little bit better than Olivier Giroud. However, if we take a look at him in comparison to Tammy Abraham as well, again, it's not looking good for my argument here, but let's be honest here. Tammy Abraham, Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud, I think I know who I'd want in my squad. In this save, I've managed to get Giroud out to Real Sociedad in Spain, where he has gone for £7 million, so exactly what he's worth. I think that's a very good deal for a player that apparently is better than all the other strikers in the club, but we all really know he's an aging one. He's not the best striker in the world, and we've got better options up there. So long, Olivier Giroud. Thanks for the £7 million. The second sale I need to stress is just a sale that I would make in Football Manager. Rudiger has had an amazing season in real life, but unfortunately, with other players in the squad, Rudiger doesn't cut the mustard, and with £31 million worth of value, I think it is a no-brainer to get rid of him. If we compare him to other centre-back partners, I really hope it doesn't screw me over once again by looking at the other players in the squad. If we go down to Thiago Silva here, we can see that there is a wee bit of a better quality in Thiago Silva, with better stats all along that left-hand side. Some better physicals for Rudiger, but even if we compare him with the youngster who was actually considered to be very good in this year of Football Manager, Zuma, there's not a lot in between them, and with one of them being very young, 25 years of age, and one of them being 27, I mean, there's only 2 years, but throw me a bone here. Rudiger is an easy one to get rid of for just a wee bit of money. £31 million, I mean, it's more than our entire budget currently, so I think it's not a position that we desperately need right now. Even players like Tomori and Christensen coming through the ranks are probably going to end up being better players than him. So on the older side, with not as much quality as the people that we already have, I think he's got to go. If we can get that price tag for him, it's a great deal. And in this save, I did manage to get the £31 million for him, going to PSG, and let's all be real here, in this save, centre-back is a pretty stacked position. We've got a lot of players out on loan, and we've already got some really good centre-backs already. I still think they could use a star centre-back, but we'll move on to that a wee bit later in the video. So for £31 million, Rudiger, I'd be more than willing to sell you. And last but not least, Emerson is my final sale. £24 million worth of value once again. We're getting rid of some players that just aren't up to the standard of our team right now and are worth quite a fair bit of money. So if we can get that price tag for him, it's not going to be bad at all. But if you compare him with other players that we've just brought in Chilwell, as well as also having Marcos Alonso. Chilwell is a little bit better than this man, let's all be honest. Better at defending, mental aerial, and all of these stats that Emerson are better in. It's by 1 point for each of them. I think I would pick Chilwell personally, especially with only 23 years of age. However, if we compare him with Alonso, it is a bit of a tighter competition. If I can actually find Marcos Alonso, I guess they're calling him Marcus, or did I completely? No, I completely missed him. If we take a look at the comparison between them, yes, Marcos Alonso is a better player, but he's 29 years of age. Emerson is 26. He can play left back or right back, and that is a real asset to have. However, Marcos Alonso doesn't draw the same buying power that Emerson does in this year of FM. So, if you can manage to sell Alonso for £28 million instead of Emerson for 24, please do that. That is a much better sale, but I challenge you to do that because I don't think it's going to happen. In this save, we managed to get £21.5 million for Emerson, and I didn't even try that hard to sell him. We were getting offers about £10 million for Alonso, and it's just not what we want. So I say again, if you can get rid of Alonso instead of Emerson, be my guest to keep this man at the club. However, for £21.5 million, for a man that's going to be a rotation player, for someone that we've already brought in Chilwell to be better than him as a new signing, I think this one is a bit of a no-brainer once again. Now, if we do look at the squad that we have after all of the sales, we do have a pretty good squad, ignoring all of the injuries. Werner up top, Pulisic, Ziyech, Havertz in the middle, a great midfield duo here. Aspilicueta at right back isn't too bad. Thiago Silva, Zuma, Chilwell and Mending. Personally, I'd put Reece James in there and not even worry about the right back position. But if we go into the team report and take a look at our squad depth, this is where we start to understand the gaps in the squad a little bit better. Up in striker, we can see that Timo Werner is a great striking option. Tammy Abraham is solid. And Batshuayi and Loftus-Cheek, I wouldn't really consider Loftus-Cheek to be a striker. But Batshuayi on loan, even Ziyech or Kai Havertz could play up there. I don't think it's really a position that we need to focus on too much. Right wing, however, we can see only Ziyech is a player that is 3.5 stars or above who is able to play in that position. Don't get me wrong, Hudson-Odoi is a great player for the future, but right now, is he of the starting quality that we do need? And in my opinion, he's slightly more suited to the left-hand side with that either foot trait. He does have the ability to play on that right-hand side, but if you take a look at where he is playing in real life, I think that left-hand side is more suited to where he is. Kai Havertz can play in there as well, Pulisic as well, but there's no real out-and-out right winger. That's definitely something we should be keeping in mind. In the central attacking midfield position as well, we've got some decent options. You know, Ziyech can play in there, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, again, not a massive concern for me. And you could dip down to a central defensive midfielder approach instead of a central attacking midfielder approach. So we're pretty stacked and pretty okay for that position. Left-hand side, again, a pretty similar problem. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of depth. However, I would say that Pulisic is a little bit more suited and a little bit more natural to playing that left-hand side than Ziyech is to that right-hand side. Don't get me wrong, Ziyech is doing a great job over there, but I would argue that he's a wee bit more of a central attacking midfielder. Still can do a great job out there, but on this left-hand side and the right-hand side, I think it does lack a wee bit of depth. And maybe Hudson-Odoi shouldn't be the only other option. In central midfield as well, we can see that there is a great standard of players. You know, Kante, Kovacic, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz even can dip down into that position. However, we don't see a whole lot of youth coming through. Don't get me wrong, Mason Mount at 21 years of age is going to be a great player. But is he more of an attacking one? Potentially. N'Golo Kante, he is only 29 years of age now, so he's getting on Kovacic is a great player as well, but still 26 years of age. There's no one that is really young, going to be a great potential for the future, who's a more defensive-minded player, which I think is something that this team is lacking, in my opinion. At right back, I think we're okay with Reece James and Azpilicueta being able to play there. Even a couple of the centre-backs can do the job. Thiago Silva, Kurt Zuma, and Christensen, in that centre-back role. There's some great players out on loan, but I do think with Thiago Silva being the main key centre-back, 35 years of age, this is a position that we need. If you take a look at the great teams, you can see how Van Dijk transformed Liverpool, how Diaz has transformed Manchester City. I think we need to do the exact same thing here at Chelsea and bring in a world-class centre-back to be able to lock in that position, make it their own, and outlast Thiago Silva. Someone that's not too old, but someone that has the ability. So not worrying too much about being extremely young, but I definitely have some players in mind for that position. Left back, I think we're also alright with Alonso and Chilwell in that position. Even Azpilicueta can drop in there. Goalkeeper, however, I think this is an issue. As Arrizabalaga, Mendy and Caballero are all great keepers. Don't get me wrong. But Arrizabalaga is not quite the standard that we need. Mendy is also not quite the standard that we need. We'd want maybe a 3.5-star current ability, or even 4.5-star current ability, but it's not happening right now. So I think the positions that we need to focus on, left/right winger, someone that can fill in that gap, put the pressure off Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech and Pulisic a wee bit. A central midfielder that's a wee bit younger, so that we do have a wee bit more defensive ability, especially if we do want to move to a central defensive midfield approach. A centre-back that is going to be a key player like Diaz or Van Dijk, and potentially even a goalkeeper if we find one who is going to be better than Arrizabalaga or Mendy. Of course, if you do make that goalkeeper signing, you would have to be selling one of these players to make sure you do have the funds. That is 4 positions that I want to highlight. I don't know if it's physically possible to get all of them down, but I'm going to do my best. So let's find out who my 3 signings are with all that money that we do have. By the way, the money that we do have, £83 million. That's what happens when you get rid of the deadwood, boys and girls. Just find some players that you don't need anymore, sell them for higher prices, and reinvest that money. Our first signing is 27-year-old Florian Thauvin. I believe there is a high probability that I pronounced that name wrong, but I don't think there is a high probability of this signing being a terrible one for you. For £18.5 million, you can bring him in your first season of Football Manager this year. What a signing he is. Don't be fooled by the 3-star current ability, and don't be fooled by only being 27 years of age. This man has experience. This man has the potential ability. Maybe he doesn't have the potential ability, but he's definitely got the potential to be a great player within your save. Already got some great stats. If we compare him with the players that we do have in that right wing position right now, the main one being Ziyech, have to go all the way down to Z there. We can see that it is a pretty fierce competition, but I would definitely give the edge to Thauvin. Based off the stats, we can see that Ziyech is more defensive, slightly better aerially, and slightly better with his vision. To me, that says Ziyech is a central midfielder. That says that Thauvin is a winger. Let's put the central midfielder in central midfield. Let's put the winger in wing, and get Thauvin to cut inside, get us those goals, finish his chances with all those brilliant stats that will let you do that. And for only £18.5 million, this man is an absolute steal. Is a brilliant signing as an elite winger for your start. Let's get this word out, for the start of your save for Chelsea. Our second signing is an interesting one, and it is that defensive player, that young one that I was saying that I wanted to bring in. His name is Palacios. That first name is far too difficult to pronounce, and for only £22 million, this man is a great youngster that is only going to get better with that 4.5-star potential ability and already some really key stats. We talk about our Tonales, we talk about our Camavingas, but not many people are talking about Palacios. He is a great player to start yourself off for Football Manager. He is a cheaper option and definitely going to be potentially as good as those players. He is 21 years of age, so obviously aligns with that club vision that we want to be seen. And if you compare him to even the best players in the world, some of the best players in our team, arguably the best player in our team, N'Golo Kante, he's not as good, and he was never going to be as good. but he just needs to develop those technical stats to get his defending up a wee bit. Maybe not quite as quick, but he's got vision, he's got technical stats, doesn't quite have the attacking, but he's not hugely far away. And if we compare him, gosh, my speaking is not great today, to a player that is not quite as good as N'Golo Kante, he's really not far off Kovacic's ability, with the physical and speed being a wee bit of an issue, aerially and technically not great either in comparison, but he's just around that ballpark. And with more potential than anyone else in the central midfield role, I think he's got to be a great signing for the future. Palacios, only £22 million. A wee bit of rise in there. I think about £3 million or something like that. I think this one's going to be an easy one. And even if you don't like him, £34 million worth of value already, you can sell him for a profit, not for a loss. And last but not least, it's that centre-back, it's that Van Dijk, it's that Diaz. It's Milan Skriniar, and now I feel like he's a cheat because I've used him in another video. I believe it was our Liverpool 3 signings and 3 sales, but he is so much more perfect for this Chelsea side. Liverpool already have Van Dijk. Chelsea don't have that key centre-back just yet, and I think this man could be it. He's got the physicality, the pace, the strength, the height, the defensive ability, and he's got a pretty cheap price to go alongside it, £42 million. If you don't want to spend that up front, I know for a fact you can get him for quite a lot cheaper. Around about £28 million is what I got him for in my Liverpool save, and then ended up paying a lot of that in instalments. But if you have the money, like we do, based off all the signings and sales that we have made already, you can splurge it on this man and not pay a whole lot more. I think there's only about £3 million more to pay. He's an elite centre-back. He's one of the best centre-backs in the game. I haven't even talked about the fact that he's 25 years old. And I think he takes this Chelsea side to another level to really help them push the Champions League. And I believe the Premier League straight away. If we take a look at the squad now, it is on another level. And I will admit, for some reason Ziyech is still being placed in there, but if we put Thauvin in there, he's going to be scoring some goals this season. We've got Werner, we've got Havertz, we've got Pulisic, we've got Thauvin, we've got Kante, Kovacic, James, Skriniar, Zuma, Chilwell and Mendy, with the youngster Palacios on the bench. There is such a depth in this squad. There is so many key players and so many young players. It's only going to get better and better. You could be pushing for that Premier League title the first season. I think it's a brilliant deal. And at the end of the transfer window, if you make those signings, you do end with not a lot of money. But as I've said, you can go ahead and sell yourself a goalkeeper, sell yourself a couple of other players. We've got so many people on loan as well who are going to be coming back. They loaned out way too many people this season, but we've certainly improved the squad. I couldn't actually bring myself to put this as one of the signings because it's not a confirmed signing. Every save is different, but if you're doing a Chelsea save, that goalkeeping position does need to be highlighted, and Donnarumma is perfect. You can sign him on a free. I've done it before, but you just have to be a wee bit lucky and a wee bit patient. I reckon he is the best signing you could make as a Chelsea boss. However, you do have to get the luck on your side, as I've already said. To get rid of Mendy, to get rid of Arrizabalaga and bring this man in would be perfect. It'd be the final piece of the puzzle. And I think with all of that said, Chelsea is going to be an incredible squad. But that is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section below who you want me to do a 3 signings and 3 sales for next. Let me know if I didn't do my signings and sales in this episode well. Tell me who you would have gotten instead. Tell me how your Chelsea saves have gone. Don't forget to like this video if you have enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the Raxo FM channel if you do want to see this daily football manager content. It is top quality stuff. You know, you saw in this video. It's good. It's good. It's mildly entertaining at the very least. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. And I'll see you all later.